Consistent self-improvement, everybody. You are now listening to American gypC Podcast. I am your host, Classic, and I'm here with my co-host,
gypC.
And we're also here with our other co-host,
Merc.
And we are back for another great season. This is season 3. For those who might have missed the first 2 episodes that we released, thank you again for another season. Happy 2023 to everybody out there. Hope your 2023 has started off well. And
I guess since it's the beginning of the year and a lot of people they do their New Year's resolution and start planning for what their goals are for the year. Anybody want to talk about what their goals are?
Or resolutions. Does anybody know where resolutions started? Why did anybody know?
You know how it is these days. If you look it up, it's going to trace back to some.
Right. Who was the creator of a New Year's resolution? Yeah, he was create something. But I can understand why they would, though. But for me, it's a little different this year. I guess it's kind of a reset. Of course, everybody would say sometimes they're always focusing on, increasing their finances during a time when they say we're in a recession. This year it's not, I can't say it's going to be I'm planning for a very creative year. It's just really more of a stabilizing year for me to really get a balance on my physical goals and, improve some financial goals, make some more business investments and things like that. But, not to really kind of get caught in a hamster wheel. That's kind of my goal, to avoid the hamster wheel still, but also keep a certain zen while
balance
working
is one of
hard.
The things that I'm striving for. And just having patience because we do a lot, and sometimes I'm in a rush to get all of it done, and it's just, everything takes time, and it's just like developing the patience for everything, so you can sustain the long game.
Yeah, and it's different now. I guess can celebrate my 5th year being in Los Angeles, and I know Ari Hurston from All You Need to Know About the New Music Business. He's the author of that book. I read it before coming to Los Angeles, and it was like, if you can make it in Los Angeles for 3 to 5 years, I don't know if it was necessarily just doing your music, but if you can make it, if I'm correct, period,
I'm
3 to 5 years, you can make it in LA, and that's one of the things that you definitely still, we're glad to be able to reflect on. And now that we have a better grip on LA, I'm able to kind of not be as in a rush with certain things of life. And I do I'm hitting a goal this year, milestone with life. I turned the big, 40. I know a lot of people probably like, what? He's not in his 20s? Yeah, I get that from you. But it's I can't say it's a big change. I'm metabolically on the scale. I'm still about 35. So I just want to perfect my consistency in the gym, my consistency with my fitness, have a complete grip on my health. I've had a pretty good grip on, staying healthy before now. And that's just something I want to get a complete grip on that this year with a lot more, gym and muscle work. And just that consistency to really focus this year on just that balance of staying in the gym and grinding.
I think I want to jump out there and say I'm so proud as a native Angelino that you guys have stayed the course for 5 años.
Thank you.
At this point,
Gracias.
Right, you're 5. You learn Spanish.
Gracias,
right.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
It's not easy. I was born into this, so it's different because you don't have a choice. You know, this is your home and this is where everyone is. But I was blessed to have the opportunity to live outside of California. And when you make the choice to leave home, but then also come back and reacclimate as an adult, you see things that you didn't see. And one of the things I can definitely say is it's not easy to pick up everything that you know and come to a new place, especially a place like California, and then specifically Los Angeles, and then specifically DTLA. Like, it's a whole different animal. And so for you all to have started with the street performances and also your side businesses, as well as your passion projects, and then creating an online community, and then bringing in a podcast as an option, and then recording, and then jewelry, and then pillows and shirts and photo shoots, and still be sustaining yourselves.
Still coming.
And still married. Right on top of that, because sometimes with all of the life stressors, it can affect not just your work and your personal, but also the marriage. So it's really beautiful to say you're celebrating this 5th year and you're excited and encouraged about the next year. That's not just a resolution, that's a lifestyle. And it's an example to other people who, you know, everyone says, I want to move to LA. I want to live there. But every day is not a beach. You know, it's so much, from the price of gas to the price of food, the cost of living, education. And it's not all gangbanging and violence like other people think it is, you know, but it's really just managing to figure out how to carve
It's more
out
car
your
accidents.
Space. Yeah.
And bombs. No,
And
just kidding.
Let them get here first.
We don't need more people.
No, but like
it is.
It's really cool. I remember when you first said you were coming out here, and to now see you where you are now. I celebrate you guys. You know.
Muchas gracias.
Oh my God. He just picked up Rosetta Stone today, and he feels like he's a Spanish speaker now. So
don't try me no more. But yeah, that's something also that I'm looking forward to, at least conquering at least one language. Another language, not one. I got, you know, of course, Southerns.
Yeah, you speak that
I
slang.
got English and I got, you know, Southern slang. Finna get some others under here.
I really want to stop real quick, since you do speak Southern slang. I want to do a pop quiz. 3 Southern slang words I'm going to throw out there. I'm going to say
we're talking about 2010 before?
No, yeah, around that time. I'm going to give you these 3 words, and I want you to define them for the audience. I'll start with something light. What does it mean if you're dope popping, a.k.a. popping?
Oh, okay, yeah, dope popping. That means that I'm gonna try not to use another slang on top of that one as well.
A slang to define slang,
right? It basically means that you're fibbing, you're lying about her liking you, or you having that, or you being this, or you know. A lot of those things, you know.
That's not what I thought that means.
As a lot of people want. Word 2, what does it mean if something is slaw?
Slaw. Okay.
And don't define it with Babbage.
Right. I got. I'm you know. I'm catching it, not to put the slang on top of it.
Never heard that word.
Slaw.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it's slaw. As we all, I don't think it came straight because of that, but it just so happened that a lot of people of color are not really big fans of coleslaw. So, you know, if we're not a fan of something, then it's slaw. Yeah, so if your beat is slaw or your music is slaw or, that haircut is slaw,
It's not good.
it's not good.
Okay.
It's slaw. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so
Okay.
you're going to the final round. This is to
Goodness,
win it all.
My wife don't know these things.
No,
oh my
I
gosh.
Exposing yourself.
My country. Oh my God.
Okay. Let
Yes,
me
I'm proud
see.
of country.
What does it mean when someone is caking, specifically a cake daddy?
Oh, caking.
I think I know that.
Yeah. Caking. It's definitely like when your mom is surprised when, the first time she see you walk through on the phone. Who you talking to? Huh? Who you talking to? Tiffany? Oh, you caking now? That's basically what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
caking.
context. I know.
And it
you
can
spitting.
also-
you trying to pull her. It
Right.
ain't just and it's funny how I look back at it. It wasn't necessarily just aggressive. Caking doesn't mean. I don't think it doesn't mean aggressive.
No.
I don't think. Yeah, when I think caking is like you shooting your shot almost.
That's a good way to define it, but I would also add for cake daddy, you are adding gifts and other things to that. In addition to the talk of shooting your shot, you have added cake.
Sweetness. You're putting a little extra sweet, a little extra frosting on it. Yeah.
So yeah,
There
you do pass the fluency level for the Southern slang. So you can actually say you speak English, Southern slang, and you're at the beginner's level of Spanish.
Un poco.
Un poco.
Un poco.
Poquito.
Hablo un poco español.
I love it.
But yeah, that's one of the perks that kind of came along with my some of my rideshare things. I hit a little goal, and it was like, yeah, Rosetta Stone. I'm like, okay,
That's
let's
nice.
see who in here. What they got Swahili. I was like, man, there's no languages of color here. So Rosetta, we need to go talk to Regina and see if we can get some Amariña or Swahili or somebody give me another language. I know Tigrinya, of course, but
Zulu, I guess.
Zulu. But yeah,
Yeah. Add it to
we're
your
missing
list.
some of those things, but we're not gonna get you right now. We're gonna finish learning something and then we're gonna talk about it in another language.
I would like that, especially because our panel is fluent in more than one language.
I'm looking forward to that. I also want to do, of course, being a pioneer in a couple of different things, looking at that Rosetta Stone, it's like, okay, all right, we gotta figure out how to do this because I like it. I like the beginning, learning style. Also Pimsleur. So, now I guess I'm put them all in the pot and using all of them at the same time now to kind of double up on the learning. Pimsleur is really good. I would like to, like I said, do that with some black languages. I don't know. I'm sure they probably have some programs out there as well. Put it in the comments if anybody, know any, or send us an email if y'all know of any languages of color people, basically, or tutorial programs that offer tutorial for like
That's a whole lot of
Swahili.
languages.
It is a
Amanda.
lot of languages. There's some apps out there that
Okay,
translate
24
very few.
24 languages on Rosetta Stone.
Okay. Do they tell you how to translate supposed to have done into English?
No, I haven't tried that one yet, but okay, yeah. Supposed to have done.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Confused.
Yeah, because they supposed to have done that,
But they
But,
didn't.
but they haven't.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they definitely, like I said, 24 languages. Hey, if 10, all we need is we can start with 10 languages. Regina Stone.
Regina Stone coming at you 2024. Regina Stone Johnson coming to a neighborhood near you.
And I like how that worked. I can say how that worked with my brain there. I had to think of a great black woman name. and Regina King was there.
Yeah.
So I just Regina
King Stone.
Regina.
Johnson.
And what they should do is actually she should do it in the Riley and Huey voice. The languages.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going too far.
I think you might be going too far.
But think about it. It would be dope though, even if it's just a car thing. I'm just of course thinking about that fresh. But even if it was just a car voice, like a GPS voice or something like that.
Yeah, well, Snoop does have his own GPS.
Come
He's had it for
Snoop.
quite some time. He's in every market.
But you want to hear Riley tell you.
You were supposed to head down?
To take a yeah. You supposed to have taken that turn back there, but yeah.
But you didn't do it.
Creativity though, that's all it is.
Kumba. In the spirit of Kwanzaa that's just passed. Creativity is key. I will pick up. This is, I wouldn't say it's a resolution because it's not for the New Year's. It's always, and I just will highlight it because I just had a recent conversation with a friend around this, and it is the idea of self-care and how we define it and how we practice it. And I know that seems like in the past couple years, self-care has become like a buzzword or a topic or like a thing. And I applaud that. I think that that's important that it is placed in prominence, especially when there's so much focus on a lot of things that are frivolous and not as necessary. But I would say that self-care is more than a trending topic. And also, it's not something that can be taken lightly, just like an exercise regime or a new language course or financial goals. Self-care has to be prioritized, and it can look like a lot of things. But I think sometimes people start by just saying, I'm going to practice self-care. I'm going to practice self-care, hashtag self-care, self-care, self-care. But then they don't take care of self.
Yeah, and a lot of times they think of that as like, oh, I'm going to take care of my face. I'm going to have like a face routine or like a hair routine or something. Right. But it's a really overall encompassing thing. Like
it's a balance to it. Yeah. It's even from mind, body, and soul, spiritual.
Yeah, what are you
it's
eating?
Holistic.
What are you, are you working out? Things like everything.
Right. And so that's not to say your facial is not self-care.
Yes, it is
it's not
part of
to
self-care.
Say that you're,
it's also
routine.
Hygiene.
Right.
So,
but it's also the words that you use when you're communicating, not just to other people, but when you're talking to yourself. It's the music that you're listening to. It is the circle that you surround yourself with. So whether that be the people at work, whether that be your significant other, or whether that be your friend group, it's how those people value themselves and how they model self-care to you. And self-care can definitely be getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting your feet done, going for a spa day. But it can also look like having a quiet moment. It can also look like meditation. It can be practicing mindfulness throughout the day. It can be avoiding processed foods. It can look like exercising on a routine basis. It can be having a therapist. There are so many ways that you can choose to care for yourself, but it's about actually applying the knowledge, not just using it as a hashtag and then throwing yourself into situations that aren't mindful or thoughtful or have boundaries or deplete and drain you. So I think instead of a resolution, as a mental health practitioner, my challenge to our listeners and to the panel and to myself would be to enact a radical form of self-care on a daily basis and hold yourself accountable and don't let anyone, whether it be work, friends, family, or significant other, get in the way of you caring for yourself.
Well said.
Are we at 20?
Oh yeah, we're.
Oh.
No, we can keep
Okay.
going.
Thought we were taking a break, but we're not.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm focusing on this year. I don't necessarily like do the whole New Year's resolution, but like around December every year, like I get a cue just to kind of assess everything, and see what I want to aim for next year. And it's, you're going to have so many goals for throughout the year, but I just want to pick 3 or 4 things, very manageable, that I want to really focus on. No matter what, I'm going to focus on these 3 things or 4 things or whatever. So yeah. And one of the things is my health and weight loss and all of that. And so I've been on it for about a month and a half now. Just doing a lot of fasting, a lot of working out. And, I'm always watching what I'm eating, but just trying to get better with my workout. Kind of been slacking on that.
Yeah, I would say you guys are always mindful. We're talking about being mindful of what you're eating.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I come by, we have discussions, but also I see
There's
the
levels.
food that you eat or don't eat. And I'm not as disciplined always. You guys know I like beer. That's like chock full of calories. I'm not as...
I'm due for a margarita. It's been a while, but I'm
my body forces
right.
me to be in line. I get hormonal imbalance and all that, so I gotta constantly watch out for any kind of endocrine disruptors, and that can mean in my food or my lotion, my deodorant.
Yeah.
I gotta watch out for all of those things, or else everything is out of whack. So, which I like, And once I get to over a certain weight that's excessive, my body will let me know to rein it back in. So I do appreciate that, and I listen and I rein it back in.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty active, so it I want to be I want my physical to kind of not hinder me from doing certain things like hiking and mountain climbing and different things like that. So.
Yeah. I know I definitely, my knees and everything, even driving long term and stuff like that. It's not bad, but, I want them to be strong at 60 and 70. And, genetics it helps as well. I'm grateful for my parents. I can look at my parents and see that their genetics is pretty good. But I definitely would like to be a example, a good example when I'm 60 and 70 years old of, staying muscular fit throughout those days.
I've got 2 things in response to that. First thing, just to circle back to the radical self-care. So recently...
I'm sorry to interrupt. Before we get into that, let's take a small break.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back.
Perfect.
Welcome back, everybody. To jump back into it, Mercedes, you were saying?
I was saying a couple of things. I'll start with the radical self-care that I was referencing. So most recently, because I think it's important to take the idea and then put it into action. So the idea here is self-care. The action has been cryotherapy. So this was started 2 weeks ago, and I was gung-ho about it because I've, done the infinity pool before at the spa, or gone into really cold water on the beach, but I wanted to take it up another level, another notch. And so we bought a 10-pound bag of ice and decided to do hands first and then work our way up to feet, blah, blah, blah. So I was responsible for administering the ice first, and my partner was just supposed to put his hand in ice, and then I was going to time it. And I had set the time for a minute. So I was like, okay, go. And then he put his hand in, and then he was like, okay, I want to take it out after 20 seconds. And I'm like, no, we're going to a minute. And he was like, no, this is really cold. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Come on, push through. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. Like, it's all in your mind. Just push through. Okay, so the first hand, he made it for like 45 seconds. Second hand, he made it for a minute and like 5 seconds. So I was like, okay, cool, good job. Now it's my turn. Okay. So when it was my turn, I put my hand in the ice, and then 5 seconds later, I was like, this shit is too cold.
Oh, wow.
No, stop. Like, time out. I think it got colder. It was like, no, what are you doing? Man, this was so cold. Like, forget all the benefits. Like, in that moment, it was freezing. And so I needed like 4 tries before I got to 60 seconds. And then in the end, I did a minute and 30 seconds. But it was such a challenge. And you will have to get past that mental block. I mean, in addition to the fact that it's just freezing, like, it really is all in how you talk to yourself. And so the way that I made it from like 10 to 30 was that self-talk. And I did see the benefits, and it's something that I've spoke to both of you about, because I'm on the computer all day typing. My wrist bothers me, and then driving in traffic for another hour back home. And I could tell the difference the day after doing the cryotherapy, that it wasn't hurting at all, you know. So
UFC fighters use it for healing
fighters, athletes of all different backgrounds,
UFC fighters, MMA fighters, all of them.
I know who you were talking about, but I was just thinking about
athletes,
like NFL players when they get in the bath and you see them in the ice baths or whatever.
Yeah,
I like to do that when I'm taking a shower. Like at the end, I'll just turn it all the way cold. Yeah,
right. Which I do as well, but it's different when your body is already warm. Yeah, over that period, and you can control. Like, okay, cool, I'm turning it off.
If it's icy,
but to like submerge it into that ice. Oh, and I was shocked myself that I was like 5 seconds. Okay, this is it. I'm done. Like, take it out. He was like, you're punking out. I'm like, no, it's cold.
It's freezing.
The goal is...
I'm tempted to get into the pool while it's cold.
We did that in the winter. I was going to say, we did that in the winter time, and that was a completely different experience than the shower, because, it's like, I had to get out really quickly because I didn't think my body can really handle it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I was getting this numb feeling.
Yeah, and that was it. Like, I'm not going to be able to take it anymore. And like I say, in the spa, when you do the plunge pool, you're just and you're back out.
Yeah.
But with that sustained ice bath, it was unbelievable. But I say that to say, we've set goals. So like next week, it'll be feet, and then you try to bring it up to your knees. And then hopefully at a certain point, it will be a full ice submerge. But
I'll probably hop in the pool sometime soon. I just been fiending to get into it. I just need to submerge in water. I need to float.
So that was my thing, is just saying, okay, what is my radical act of self-care, whatever it is, and then applying it. Like, state the goal and then provide an objective. So that was one thing. But to your point about getting older, oh my God, 40 years so old. But no, seriously.
Metabolically, I know where I'm at.
I think that in this society, especially, there's this idea that like you can keep trying to turn the clock back. 40 is the new 30, 30 is the new 20. No one ever says 20 is the new 10, but it's like people keep trying to push back this aging instead of embracing. Like, I don't remember my grandparents being like 60 is the new 50. Like they were just 60 and
But-
they hold on, hear me out. And they were grandparents, right? They just did grandparently things. And now this is going to be a big generalization. I know, a stereotype, everything rolled up into one, but like my grandparents were not trying to like be younger. They just wanted to be themselves, whatever that meant as grandparents. In this day, it feels as though no one wants to be, like, for example, a grandparent. They don't call me grandma, call me glamma, call me Gigi, call me like. Why don't you want anyone to call you grandma? That's my one question. But my first question before we get into this whole idea, which I know this is back to a conversation we had where we're talking about marketing and capitalism, and this is why everyone does not want to age, because it doesn't serve the capitalist system with all the face creams and the penis elongation and the Viagra and the plastic surgery and all the other stuff that goes along with not being your age. But who is the oldest person you know? And are they trying to be younger, or are they just happy to be their age?
Well, for me, me personally, I guess I have to say, in my family,
Yeah.
it would be my Aunt Artie, who's probably about 88.
Okay. Is Aunt Artie trying to get to the club?
But it's Aunt Artie. Aunt Artie is a whole different generation. You know, that's, like I said, when I mean complete generation, that was still more of that time. And I think even then, from where we've come from as a culture to where we are now, it was a lot of things we were taught that was just more, as you can see, we've, I guess, learned human nature. So everybody know you grow old, you eventually got to grow old. And there's been some secrets into saying, to get the longevity, do you want to be the old person that, can't move around for themselves? Or do you want to be at least the old person that can physically, operate? And we've learned now, of course, like you said, with having information, we got to at least use it if we have it, and understanding how the brain works as well. So when it comes to even aging, there's a things with gray hairs to where you can't necessarily connect gray hair with aging. You have to sometimes probably connect it with more of an imbalance in the body, or just something like that, depending on certain people, because some people get gray hairs early, some people don't. Same age. So it's not aging for everybody. And we've also been taught, certain things around even gray hair, like don't pull your gray. Or is it possible that a gray can start growing gray and then go black?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just to use this example, I was in 4th grade with somebody who had gray hair. So gray hair is relative. What I'm talking about related to Aunt Artie, our Uncle Buddy, who was my
Uncle
oldest
Benny?
buddy. Uncle Buddy, he was 103 years old. Okay. That's his age, but he was moving around fine. He was a pastor as well. He still preached his sermon. He had full capacity, and he was able to do his own thing. Aunt B, 98, drove around in her own car, even though people were like, how is she still driving? She was driving. She was doing her thing. I'm just saying you can age. It doesn't mean you're old. Old is a state of mind.
But it's still two different circumstances when it comes to
Different
aging. When you
environments. They
age
didn't-
as a poor person and when you age as a rich person, you are two different types of old people.
But I'm not talking about class.
No,
But
okay.
let me stop,
But-
because you didn't
but-
say who
okay,
your
go ahead.
oldest person is.
Well, I know a couple of people that are in their 80s. I knew somebody in their 90s, but recently died. But to your point, when you're saying like, they're not trying to look younger or doing any of these life hacks or whatever people are doing now, aging hacks. But it was different back then. See, a lot of those people, they probably didn't even taste any processed food until they were like in their 30s or 40s or something. And they weren't exposed to the same environmental like crap that we're exposed to. So it's like, it's different now. Like, we do have to counteract some of that. Like, all our food is poison.
All our food is poison.
So,
I agree that I'm not. I think we're talking about two different things. I'm not.
Right,
I'm not
talking more on behavior.
No, I'm talking about perception, and I'm also talking about what's wrong with saying I am 40.
Gotcha.
No. Like, no. Listen, I'm 40. No black balloons. No, I'm getting old. Yeah. Man, we got to start. Just, you're 40 and you're 40.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the difference.
It's okay.
But
it's just you're 40.
But there's a difference because everybody looks different, feels different at a different point in life when they hit that certain point. Some people expect to be at a certain point in life when they hit a certain age. So sometimes that makes them feel personally a certain way when it comes to, the rest of the outside world from them. But just, of course, for me personally, I can embrace 40 a little different because I don't necessarily look 40.
What does 40 look like, though? That's
40 don't look like this.
But also 40.
Okay, so look, that's your point. That's
culture,
the point.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, but this is the thing. Because the old 40 didn't look like this. Because like I said, even Lil Duval just posted from one of the old school basketball players how they used to look then versus how they look now. They look super old back then, but they was young. It's just they swag was just different. Or it just was old.
Or are you preserved because of all of the additives?
No, I think times have changed, and
I'm not talking about 100 years ago. I'm not talking about
I'm talking about, 60s, 70s when the basketball,
Okay, so you're talking about Patrick Ewing.
Man, them cats, they look a lot old. They look like super, I could say, from our perspective, they didn't look like the average 20-year-olds and stuff that's playing ball now. When I got their cards and stuff and look at them back then, I'm like, man, them cats look old then.
So what do young people, quote unquote, what does a 20-year-old look like in comparison to you when you look 20? Like today's 20.
High school.
To your 20.
It all, I could say it depends. It all depends on, because the neighborhood, the certain schools look, they I don't know. I could look, from around in different, the kids look different. I could say even from, because I thought about it the other day. What did our section leaders look like to us when we were like 9th grade and stuff like that? And I'm talking section leader in the band, The seniors, we looked up to the seniors then and, basically had respect for them. But they just didn't seem, I don't know, I guess back then they didn't seem as young. They seemed already like adults by the time they were seniors to us in the field.
Okay.
So when they was 12th grade, high school, we knew that they was ready for college. But even when we got to college and was looking at the freshmen, we was like, man, they look like little kids now. The freshmen coming in, because we didn't feel like we looked like little kids. We felt like we looked like freshman college kids. But when the freshmen below us came in, they looked like sophomore high school kids to us.
Okay, I'll concede this and just say your perception is going to be a reality. Let's go back to this. Why don't people want to be their age?
because it's closer to when the lights turn off. That's the closest reality.
Okay, but
that
fine.
you're looking
Okay,
at.
so but look at it like this.
They do want to be that
No,
age.
but
Why didn't
no,
the
because
older generation
yeah,
mind, or why does
yeah,
this
that why is
generation?
it? I have friends that did not make it to this age. Okay, I
Yeah,
have friends that died at 10, 15, 20, 25. Their family would love if they could celebrate them being 40.
I
And
understand that
so
part
I
of it.
think it becomes warped when you're running from this thing that is a gift. We are aging, and if you are aging and you're healthy, to your point about it, if you're aging and you're healthy, you celebrate that because
how many
somebody
people-
didn't make it to that age, especially when we're talking about our culture, especially when you're talking about being a young black man from Mississippi.
How many people in your family have aged like you?
I got good genes. I just told you they're 190s.
I got good genes. What I say earlier, I said,
Yeah.
hey, my mama and my daddy got some pretty decent genes. My daddy is 70 and he still got black hair in his head.
When my dad
You know,
goes to the doctor
some
doctor
people-
don't believe that
but
he's his age.
A lot of people other than us,
Yeah.
she already getting gray hair and she younger than me.
But
You
you,
know,
won't
I
know
got
her
a few gray
age.
She
hair,
got a
and
few,
you
but-
also have
right.
gray hair. It's
But-
like
But you
you have
can't.
the same amount.
But-
A gray hair doesn't tell
Exactly,
your age. Like I
because
said,
mine turns
Wait,
black again
wrong.
sometimes.
It does.
no,
I
what
drive
about the
ride
kid
share.
that
I
I
know,
told you about who
but
had gray
I j-
hair in the 4th grade?
I had cousins,
But
in
I
their
drive ride
teens
share
that
though.
have
I
gray
drive
hair.
ride share. I mean, it's the other way with driving ride share. People looking at me from behind, and the last thing they think is, he's not in his 40s because I don't see no gray hairs.
But that's them
Right,
because
but
you
I
could
know
color your
people
hair.
in their teens that have gray hair. It's not
Right,
Like,
And you
but
could
we're
color
not.
your hair
We're not
too.
talking about that because even still, face wise, you can't say I still just necessarily look like I'm 40 as well. Like I should have a bunch of gray hair. I don't quite look like it. Even my beard isn't necessarily.
you got
when you're
some
looking
gray
scruffy,
hair, and you have me
I do have some gray
pluck it.
hair. Now, even with plucking gray hair, like I mentioned before, having a gray hair that starts growing gray and then it goes back and starts turning black. What does that mean? And
Stress.
how, right. Stress, right? So some people body, I guess, maybe take stress. You can't say that people are not stressing just because they might not have a whole head full of grays.
It's a hormone in your body that, when activated, like cortisol, when you get stressed out, the levels go higher.
Yeah, and it's different for women than men. It's like men are mostly driven by
Yeah, but still,
testosterone.
some men still
Yes.
gray up, like, early. Ball, same thing for balling, going bald. It's
Yeah, stress
so
doesn't
think with
only
men.
mean
So
how
think
we-
with men though, aging.
Emotional stress. It means like physical stress. Are you like 500 pounds and putting weight on your organs and stuff? And are you like, there's a lot of different kinds of stress you can. Are you working out too much and putting stress? Like
Right.
there's a
So
lot
think
of
you
stress.
already got that stress, and then your birthday coming next month, and you turn 1 year older, and you're
And
like,
you-
all right, I'm not hitting my goals like I want to, and I need to get on top of some things. That's aging. That's the stress. That's how people just really don't, they want to pull that clock back. So when you happen to be 50 looking like you maybe 40 or 35, especially if you're a woman, oh my goodness, you want to let the world know. You're going to brag and you're going to, but deep down inside, of course, you're holding on to the youth because you don't want to focus on manifesting the older. I don't know, because some people are in a hurry to grow old. And they be old at 25,
Oh, they be
talk
old.
old.
Yeah,
You get what?
yeah.
So your
I
brain
know.
matters.
I think that I think what I was getting at earlier, and now we've kind of morphed into a different conversation. But what I was trying to say earlier, and I guess I need to be a little bit more clear, is
My bad.
society makes it so that there is a pressure placed upon the individuals to reject the aging, the natural aging process, the blessing that is having another year, whether it's with a gray hair or not, whether it's with a wrinkle or not, whether it's with a pound or not, whether it's with a stretch or not. They make it so that you feel ashamed, or that you feel anxiety, or you feel like what you were saying, you haven't met a goal. But the goal that you've met is longevity and a life well lived, because you have experience, and hopefully you have wisdom. There's nothing
But
worse than an old fool, but
I'm not
hopefully
saying
you
I'm
have
regretting it,
wisdom.
though.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
you. I'm saying in general. We are constantly bombarded with messages that aging is not what you want to do, and instead you need to focus on regression, and that's not the natural life cycle. You don't go back into your mom's womb after you're born. The next place you go, you live, you grow old, and then you pass. You don't go back and back and back. So the advertisement that's being aimed at us to go back and back and back is quite frankly ridiculous.
Now, when you say advertisement, from who?
Well, in
From the
general,
major
media,
companies, yeah.
But that's
advertisements,
Hollywood.
anti-aging.
It's
That's-
not just
so,
Hollywood. It's
but
Procter and Gamble.
Now, but
it's,
think if you coming across certain information that's telling you, hey, back in this certain time, people used to live this amount of time, and people used to go this way, and people used to do this, and they live a lot longer, and people, and to look at it, were we programmed to actually think old first, to think that, okay, because that's what the system is banking on. That's their whole thing. We need you in this world, and we also need you to basically not succeed and kind of grow old, but still,
they want you to feed the machine, but they also want you to be old and sick and dependent. But they also make you old and sick by ingesting this bullshit
Right.
that they're selling. So it's a cycle, and it's designed to make you sick by putting thoughts into your mind that are counterproductive. It's just like, okay, I gave my grandparents as an example. I'll also give you an example of the fact that when my grandparents were in their 70s, they could probably like outlift all three of us. These people were strong. Yes, they came up post-slavery, but they would get up at like 6 a.m. and like chop wood, and like they were on phones and on computers. They were like really freaking strong. So it's like, even if they were older, they had strength, and based on the definition of youth, it's virility. So there has to be something said for just the ability to go out there and be active. And right now, this, I think, and I could be wrong, this is up for debate with you guys, but I feel like we are creating a society of people that are inactive.
Yeah. That's for sure.
And that's not healthy, because if you look at the studies, it says sitting is the new smoking, right? So
Right.
if you're just sitting constantly all day long, even somebody like myself who's at a desk all day long typing, I'm not active unless I make the choice to say, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go for my walk, I'm going to go exercise, I'm going to take a break from being at this desk. Otherwise, I'm not as healthy as a 60-year-old that goes for a regular walk every day.
Yeah. And with like I said, I guess with aging though, I still, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know, with the kind of between on, I guess the point still, because like I said, even with staying active or thinking young or growing in wisdom, finding that balance and growing in wisdom still, like you said, like a older person, understand you're growing older. We all got to grow older. Embracing growing older, but as well, you got to start like it's a lot sooner than I guess some of us did with your health wise, or at least just, having some type of control over what you eat, what you drink, there's the biggest difference in between, because I don't drink as much as the average person that I came up with, and that's a difference. You know, you might see it's an alcohol difference. We can't deny that. You can't, you know, beat the alcohol up for years and expect to hit 40 the same way. I personally don't have any, you know, don't know of any health issues. I don't know of a lot of people that's probably hitting 40 that don't have health issues in my generation.
I feel like it's a combination of things, even just like with the whole aging and.
Before we get in or continue, we're going to take one more break and
Grab a snack. Be right back.
grab a snack. Be right back.
A healthy snack.
All right, welcome back. And where we were starting back off, continuing with the age.
Well, when you were mentioning the epidemic of sitting and how everybody has a desk job, and there's a lot of sitting in general. Like, even if it's not at the job, you go home and there's a lot of TV and sitting.
You rest. You just want to sit.
Yeah, resting.
In general.
But lately, in my social media and on YouTube, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about the whole body positivity movement, which kind of is on top of that, kind of fueling this whole thing of unhealthiness and all of that. Have you guys been hearing about the whole body positivity movement?
Right. Yes.
How like
I feel like Lizzo was a big proponent of that when she first came on the scene. She was talking about
it was already like
no, I mean as far as bringing it to the mainstream. Definitely already there, but bringing it to the mainstream. I feel like
she was an instrument.
To see more.
Yeah,
I don't know. Mention.
I mean, it's one thing to like, you know, to kind of, you know, be encouraging people not to. It's going overboard basically because they're demonizing like losing weight.
Yeah.
Reality.
Like going after people that are losing weight.
Reality check is really unhealthy. Like I said, if you live in this life from 20 to 40 with that lifestyle, and when you hit 40, it's one thing. You either care about your weight or you either care about how old you're getting.
But they have doctors and stuff kind of going along with this. They're like saying, you know, you could be healthy at, you know, at any weight, at, you know.
Yeah, but for now, here's your prescription.
And
you can.
We know why. Like, it helps the pharmaceuticals and all of that stuff, the hospitals, all of that, because, you know, you're constantly going there for health issues. But to shame people for losing weight and on top of that pretend like there's no health issue when you're at that weight, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a slippery slope because folks will chime in and say, I'm this weight and I'm healthier than someone who weighs less than me who has this particular diet. Just for example, but you can always, you know, you could pick tit for tat, like the person who eats pork, smokes cigarettes, and never exercises and lives to be 90 years old, right? There's always going to be, and then the vegetarian who works out every day and passes away at 45. Like, there will always be those, like you said, outliers.
There's skinny fat. There's a lot of skinny fat.
But I do think that, I think body positivity is getting misnomered, right? And you're mixing in people who are at risk for larger health concerns with people who just love their body. And we're in full support of people loving themselves regardless of what size you are. But larger than that, I think we could say as a panel, we're in more support of people being healthy. And that doesn't mean being skinny.
Right.
Though that's the thing that I think people get mixed up with is like, oh, if I'm skinny, then I'm healthy. No.
Oh yeah, I've gotten on one of those.
That's not it.
Definitely
Body scanner things before,
BMI
and somebody that was like it reads like your body fat percentage and a bunch of details, and it was somebody a lot smaller than me that got on there, and they have a lot more body fat percentage than I do. So it doesn't mean like you can't always look at the weight. There's like skinny people that are getting diabetes, so it's not always about the
Young
weight, but at
people.
the same time, there's like a balance. It's like we're going to the complete extreme is what I'm seeing of the whole movement. It's like if people want to lose weight, it should be okay. It shouldn't be like, I mean, there's literally people that are like, the word healthy is not allowed. The word gym is not like, they're going completely on the extreme. And, it's
And
getting
even
ridiculous.
from the realistic conversation we had with something in common with Kim and Michael, hearing from their transformation, like I said, they brought up very key points, even when dealing with, okay, so what, if you're healthy at that point, if anything happens and you need to go to the doctor, it's harder for the doctors to be able to operate on you. Like I said, even just period, it's harder. So the better chances of them saving your life if something happens is slimmer at that point. So after them going through what they've been through, even to lose the weight that they've lost, when something did happen, they were grateful at that point that they had already were conscious enough and thought about that decision to where now they're grateful to still be alive. And those are some of the things that, the body positivity thing is like, okay, you're 20 years old right now. You're going to do that for so many years. And then, like I said, if you don't get a grip on it and something happens, 40 not going to look good, 45 not going to look good, 50 not going to look good, 60 not going to look good. Is it even possible? And for them to be grateful, to be like, okay, if this wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be alive. It'd be those types of things when it comes to, thin line between body positivity and common sense on just everything that they're saying out there, from diabetes. Mexico is very, very, very popular for diabetes with Coca-Cola, to where it's
it's more Coca-Cola than water in some places.
Yeah.
That, so, it's certain cultures as well that it's in. Some culture, like I said,
so the thing also, you brought up culture, and I was just hearing this Indian guy who was talking about that. Like there's so you eat a certain way in your country, but when you come here and you try to recreate the same food, they're not the same ingredients. Like they have a lot of different chemicals and different things like that. And so like that's causing, people to gain weight, or have these people who are like skinny fat, who's might look healthy on the outside, but it's like there's a lot of issues on the inside. But yeah, like I can't eat like
you can't just stop and grab any restaurant around
like
here.
injera, like with Ethiopian food or Eritrean food, you eat a lot of stuff with injera, and the injera is like a pancake looking thing that you eat everything with. But if
it's made with a certain type.
If you eat that here versus if you eat that back home, is different. Back home is they're using teff, which is gluten free, and you eat it here, you can't do that every day. Like you end up, very unhealthy and bloated and all of that. So it's
we have a lot of foreign places here in downtown LA, and it's the menus aren't healthy. They're not all healthy as far. Of course, a lot of them is just healthy, and it's not even just from, just fried stuff. It could be the bread. Everything is breaded, or it could be just fried for some of it, and surrounded by unhealthy stuff. If you got they're hyping up all the from drinking to the food. As rideshare, I kind of see so much of. And, you know, you still kind of get to pay attention to what we're taught not to ingest and what other people, it don't matter what we ingest. Even when you go into some of the supermarkets, you just wonder, like, man, what is this? This isn't even real stuff. Even just going through garment district, seeing all the plastic, I got to the point to where I felt, you know, it looked like, yeah, I see we've just kind of, things are just kind of excessive. And that goes from food to just a lot of unhealthy things.
So what, I mean, I guess with now, what do we do about it though? Because I do want,
For
since
those
we started
that can
talking about resolutions, you know, I want us to at least conclude on the up note. What can an average person do about it? Because something that one of my friends said to me really struck home, in the sense that I was talking about buying food from Walmart and how I don't, haven't, won't, not interested in all the other things. And she was like, well, what about people who have a family of 6 and they shop there because that's reflective of what their budget allows them to?
Well, that's all they know.
You know, Whole Foods isn't going to let you get the same amount of products that you can get from Walmart. So you are going to get those items with the preservatives or the fluoride or the et cetera, like
Natural flavors.
Yeah, it's easy, you know, and the point was taken, it's easy for someone like me, and she meant a dink, double income, no kids, to say that versus someone with a family of children, right?
Learning a lot of words today.
I've always wanted to be a dink. So that's that. But yeah.
You know, to be honest, yes, it is more expensive to shop at Whole Foods, but it's like sometimes you can counter, if you really want to be healthy and be proactive about it, like
You can still pick
you're
wisely.
gonna have to pick more fruits and vegetables and like cook it yourself, and
Farmers
like
markets.
not necessarily
Microwavables and
No.
yeah, don't get
no.
things in a box and stuff. That's when it starts to cost you
but
more
that's what
to
they
go
doing.
I'm
to
just
one
saying,
store or
say no
another.
to microwaves.
But vegetables, yeah, we don't use
No,
microwaves.
haven't in
But the
years.
majority of people live off microwaves.
Yeah,
a lot of people live off microwaves.
Free yourself from the micro slaves,
And
please.
honestly, I could say, like you say, I don't know.
Some
if-
people hearing this like, these people are crazy.
Crazy.
Like, no.
I guess it's like, it's funny because from paying attention to life, period, when you see so many different examples of how people live and how people, you know, you got people like Mike Rashid, big monster guy, say he only eat once a day. And then you got people that feel like, yo, I got to have 4 meals a day. You know, so it's so many ways. Like I said, when you look at it, what have we been taught? How many meals have we been taught to eat a day? What, even breakfast, you know, are we really supposed to be eating breakfast? It's a whole mix of things that, you know, that they're into play, to where, like I say, even to look at a monster dude like him and he only eat once a day. All right, how do you get your discipline to even where you can handle 1 meal a day? I know I need 3,
Don't
probably
eat too
2
much
to 3.
sugar and
Right. So I've come across a lot of knowledge that I haven't used. I know a lot of people out there come across a lot of knowledge that they haven't used, not really interested in using, even if, you know, it was there. And that's a lot of the problem on us as individuals. You know, like I said, we want to be role models. We want to be able to change. Or help people change, or be. A lot of people want to see. You know, if I'm talking more about, I guess, more physical health or anything like that, yeah, or anything, they probably want to see me, big buff Rashid looking guy. You know, Mike Wright, talking health, and then they may feel it a little bit more. And that's just from personal. When I think about, because it's hard for me to like I say, even to discuss that if somebody got kids and stuff like that, or try to tell them, in a particular way don't get the microwave food, but I know they ain't got time and they burnt out when they get home and it's going across their personal lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
They might not have time to cook like somebody else. So it's a real hard challenge. Age help people kind of automatically get that. Even if you embracing getting old, period, getting old gonna embrace you. So you need to stop eating bad or we leaving.
This is my quote that I heard a doctor say a long time ago.
And when I say we leaving, that means that spirit inside of you is gonna be like, yo, I can't function here in this body anymore. So
transition.
Shut this down. Turn these lights off. Turn this power off. Kidney off. You know?
Right. So aging is a natural process. Getting old is a state of mind. And I think that's what we have to just be mindful of.
And the mind controls a lot in the body as well, though.
Yeah.
And so you got to be aware of that part.
Well, yeah. Some people say the brain is right. Your gut is your second brain or your first. Yeah. Depending on how you see it. Honestly, it's...
you got some spirits.
You got venom in there telling you, grab some pizza.
People say you have a spirit, but I believe people have spirits in them, multiple. You know, so.
But when you say, how do we fix this, what in particular are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it's easy for us to have these sound bites where we're like, oh, the food is bad, capitalism is this, and the man is that. And, you know, I think some people might, like you said, listen to what we're saying and then be like, they crazy. I'm going to use my microwave. Or they crazy. 40 is the new 30. You know, like it's so the reason why I say how is because I also, for everything that I put out, I want to offer to your resolution a balance to it. So, we talked about mindfulness. We talked about self-care. We talked about eating healthier and what that looks like, but what are alternatives so that people don't leave listening to this episode and feel like, well, forget it. I mean, it's already designed for me to get old, sick, and die, so I might as well.
No,
number one, you got to start with being grateful.
Little.
Be grateful to still be alive to hear this podcast. That's like where you want to start at.
So having an attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude is where you definitely want to start. I watched a music video that my homie Mope Williams, Beautiful Day video. I hadn't seen it in a while. I watched it again and noticing the in-between part where he's, you know, saying I love you to Trayvon Martin, Brown, Floyd, and Tamika, and I think, was it Tamika? Maybe it wasn't Tamika. It was no, maybe might not have been Tamika. I can't remember the young lady. Brianna, sorry. But also there's a comedian in that video that's not even here with us today that died of an illness. Mm-hmm. He was, as far as amazing comedian, but you know, that's how time works. Young too. He wasn't, mm-hmm. you know, old, but I'm not even quite sure as far as the complications, but that type of thing, and understanding, all right, if we still here, there is still hope mm-hmm. for consistent self-improvement. There is because some people, like I said, it's different situations for different folks. Some people stressing aging, some people stressing a whole lot of other stuff other than aging. But it's I don't know. I'm go ahead. You go ahead.
Now you made me lose my train of thought.
It's just like you say, an attitude of gratitude.
You can't take okay. We don't only talk about the problems of the world. I mean, we talk about plenty of solutions in terms of even just being healthy, right? Like, you don't have to do what I do now personally would be extreme for a lot of people if they've never tried to lose weight or read nutritional labels and try to figure out what means and things like that. There's tons of research that I do on an everyday basis about all of that just to make sure I'm doing all the right things. But start small. Like, start with one thing, and then once you master that, then you have that trust with yourself and you are proud of yourself for accomplishing this one thing consistently over time. And then you add more and more, and you can probably add a lot more over time because, you know, you have that confidence in yourself and that willpower. So yeah, it doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to just start studying all those labels and all the ingredients and stop using the microwave and start fasting, you know.
But you do have to start with
16
clean
plus
water.
hours a day, and yeah, at least clean up the water. But
At least start with clean water.
yeah, so just start with one thing and just, because a lot of people do say, like, I don't have time to research any of that stuff. And to be honest, like, I mean, anybody can say that. Like, I could say I don't have time to research it, but but you do have time to watch something that you do place value on. So it's just placing value on your health, because you're going to keep, you know, in the long run, you're going to keep, you know, paying a lot more in medical fees and all of that. So
Gotta get old.
yeah, just start with one thing. And like, you don't even have to go to the gym. Like, get your 10,000 steps in by just walking around your building every day, several times a day. I just walk up. If it's raining, it doesn't matter. I'll just walk up and down these halls, up and down these stairs, up, you know, go back and forth until I get my 10,000 steps. And I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't need a gym membership. So just start there. Over time, you're like, oh shit, I did all of this. So okay, now we turn up. Let's maybe do some resistance training, whatever it is. Do some biking. So just take it up a notch every time, and just build up that muscle of
believing in yourself.
Yeah, believing in yourself. And because a lot of times that's what stops people. They get, you know, they mess up once or something, and they're like, oh, it's already messed up anyway, so let's just scrap the rest of the week or scrap the day or whatever.
And I've definitely had to remind myself to believe in myself. You know, so it's not something.
I would say, gypC, you have summed it up, honestly, as far as what my question was.
Yeah.
And it is starting small and
Yeah.
accomplishing that goal, and then gaining confidence and adding something else.
Yeah.
That's the answer to anything, really. It's not just about health. It could be about your education. It could be about your financial goals. It could be in a relationship. Whatever it is that you wish to accomplish, it reminds me of that quote they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I'm not interested in eating.
I've never heard.
You guys never heard that before? Yeah.
So,
But the point is, you just do one. I'm not encouraging eating elephants, by the way, but it's just how do you accomplish a big thing, and it's by doing this one little thing, one little step. So I will take that and apply it, because even though I'm here discussing X, Y, and Z, I need encouragement as well. And that is a good reminder to just manage things in the best way you can, one thing at a time, and then elevate to the next thing. Because I do feel like there's so many things swirling around you that you want to accomplish. It sometimes can be overwhelming to focus on one, because you're trying to accomplish everything. Like, I want to eat better. I want to get this training. I want to meet with these people. I want to get, you know, like, okay, pick one, start there, accomplish that, then get to the next. So it's just, it really is one thing at a time. And I like that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I think that wraps up today. Thank you, Mercedes, for joining us.
And welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
It is
back.
good to be back. It is good to be back. Thank you for extending the invite. As always, you guys give me a moment to just take a break from everything that's happening in the outside world and connect with my tribe and really reflect on the gift that we have. Gratitude for every moment, just being grateful to have this space. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being back in this chair. And I appreciate you transplants.
We appreciate you and your great energy. And we also would like to say thank you again to all of our listeners for continuing to, support. This is season 3. I don't know how many. It's been over a lot of, I guess we're about 120 something episodes, maybe all together. Not sure how many we're going to do this season, but it will be a more in-person season where we'll have people come in and we'll change up the set often and, provide some good material, some good education, and continue to learn and grow as we learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on all major platforms as well as AmericanGypC.com. And you can also find consistent self-improvement merch at luamlee.com. And you can find crystals, Bearite crystals at bookofbearite.com.
Book of Bearite.
Or Book of Bearite on Etsy. Thank you for tuning in.
You can also find some music at Classic, KLACCIK, CARPENTA, and that's on all major platforms. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of the above. Thank you again. This is American gypC Podcast. I am Classic.
gypC.
Merc, aka Mercedes.
And we're signing out.
Consistent
Deuces.
self-improvement.
Peace.